Hello, everyone. The second part of our human skeletal system we are talking today is the vertebral column. Vertebral column, spine. The human vertebral column, also known as the spine or backbone, is a complex structure made up of individual vertebrae that extend from the base of the skull to the pelvis. The spine is composed of 33 vertebrae stacked on top of each other. These vertebrae are divided into 5 regions: cervical, neck; thoracic, upper back; lumbar, lower back; sacral, pelvic, and coccygeal, tailbone. The spine provides support for the body, protects the spinal cord, and allows for movement and flexibility. Let's explore how the vertebral column forms and its various functions. Now let's begin with the embryonic development. During embryonic development, the vertebral column begins as a flexible structure called the notochord, which serves as the initial support for the developing embryo. As the embryo grows, the notochord is gradually replaced by segmented blocks of cartilage called somites. Okay, here is how the bones formed: ossification. Over time, the cartilaginous vertebrae undergo ossification, a process in which bone tissue replaces cartilage. Ossification begins during fetal development and continues into childhood and adolescence. By the time a person reaches adulthood, the vertebrae have fully ossified into bone. What are the segments of the vertebral column? The adult human vertebral column is typically composed of 33 vertebrae, although some of these fuse together during development to form fewer individual bones. The vertebral column is divided into 5 regions: cervical, neck; thoracic, upper back; lumbar, lower back; sacral, pelvic; and coccygeal, tailbone, as we mentioned above. So what are the functions of the vertebral column? As we know, bones are a supportive system of internal organs, so the spinal column has one of the important functions to provide structural support for the body. It bears the weight of the head, neck, trunk, and upper limbs, while also distributing this weight evenly to maintain balance and posture. How the spinal column protect the spinal cord? The vertebral column encases and protects the spinal cord, which is the main pathway for transmitting nerve signals, or communicate, between the brain and the rest of the body. The bony vertebral arches and intervertebral discs provide a protective barrier around the spinal cord, shielding it from injury. How flexible and mobile is the spinal column? The vertebral column is highly flexible, allowing for a wide range of movements such as bending forward, flexion, backward, extension, sideways, lateral flexion, and rotation. This flexibility is facilitated by the intervertebral discs and the unique structure of the vertebrae, including the joints between them. Okay, what tissues are attached to the spinal column? The vertebral column provides attachment points for muscles and ligaments that support and stabilize the spine. Muscles such as the erector spinae, which run along the length of the spine, help maintain posture and control movement, while ligaments connect the vertebrae and provide additional stability. Now let's talk about the spinal discs. The intervertebral discs between the vertebrae act as shock absorbers, cushioning the spine and reducing the impact of movements such as walking, running, and jumping. These discs are composed of a gel-like center, nucleus pulposus, surrounded by a fibrous outer layer, annulus fibrosus. In one of the videos, we will discover in detail about the conditions of the spine. Make sure you follow our video. Another important function of the spinal column is the blood cell production. Within the vertebral column, specifically in the spongy bone of the vertebrae, red bone marrow is found. Red bone marrow is responsible for producing red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets through a process called hematopoiesis. In summary, the vertebral column is a vital structure in the human body, providing support, protection, flexibility, mobility, and serving as a site for blood cell production. Its formation during embryonic development and its diverse functions highlight its importance in maintaining overall health and well-being. You have a good spine, you will have a good back.